What's up, guys? It's Cam coming at you from the 2-6. Welcome back to Carolina Fragrance Reviews. So we got part 1 taken care of. Now let's get part 2 taken care of for 25 fragrances that I will never stop recommending. Without any further ado, let's get into this. So in case you missed part 1, you might want to go back and check that. It went over pretty well. You guys seem to be pretty interested in some of those choices, but those were the upper ones. So we're getting into the middle of the meat and potatoes. And again, I was tagged by my mate, George the Fragrance Apprentice. So shout out to George. So as I said, we're getting into the meat and potatoes now. And then the next episode, we'll get the meat and potatoes and gravy. So the fragrances today, you're probably going to be sort of familiar with. You've seen me boast them just a little bit, so obviously it will be a little bit more predictive programming, because you guys know that I have been talking about 1821 man-made tobacco spirits for a long time, over 2 years now, and rightfully so. I know several of you that are spectacularly pleased with this fragrance as far as a nice, manly, man's man.
Shut up, old man! You that something who had to come from?
Gosh, that was harsh. Yeah, man's man tobacco fragrance. I don't know if it would, I don't know. You might wind up stealing somebody's woman. I mean, do what you gotta do if you want to get them in the ring with you. You know what I'm saying? But this is a spicy, sweet, delicious tobacco fragrance that even some might say has a little bit of a hint of leather smell to it, or leather shop smell to it. But you've got some saffron in here, then you've got the trifecta of honey, vanilla, and tobacco that just works so well. It's masculine. You can wear it with a suit, you can wear it with a leather jacket. It is just the epitome of a man's man tobacco fragrance. This one is not insanely expensive, but the quality that you get in this bottle is second to none, and I will never, ever stop recommending it. So the next fragrance debuted when I first learned about this indie house that's just all about good vibes, cowabunga, surfing type fragrances. This one is Beach Geeza's Cocoa Moon. So if you're that surfer dude that just wants the wind in your hair, or just want to escape to the beach, but you don't have the funds, the means, it might be dead of winter, whatever the case might be, spray this on and you will feel nothing but summer vibes. You've got pineapple, bergamot, coconut, sandalwood, vanilla, just a great fragrance. And one of the few fragrances that I've smelled with this type of vibe that gets like extraordinary performance. Ryan, the owner from this brand, is all about that beach life, and he just keeps lining them up and knocking them down. And this is a beloved one, and for good reason. And I know a bunch of you have been turned on to this fragrance by good old moi, or by other means. I'm not trying to too much, but yeah, I called it first, players. Cool. Next fragrance I kind of went back and forth with just a little bit, but I had to really stop and think, okay, out of the Y line, which one have I recommended the most? And it's probably the one, well, most certainly is the one I've talked about the most on this channel. It is Y Live. And the reason for that is because this fragrance is a big attention getter. If you're wanting a fragrance that is very versatile, but can also work as your clubbing scent, your dating scent, something that's going to draw the ladies in, Y Live, just in my experience and the people I have recommended this fragrance to, they have all just boasted about how well this fragrance works. Now, as many of you know, I think everybody might have their favorite from the Y line, whether it's the EDT, the EDP, Live, or maybe even Eau Fraiche. Eau Fraiche is just like super easy to wear. EDT is super versatile. EDT is a little bit stronger, but does that little scratchy thing to my nose. So even though the EDP did that to me, and it does have some of these shared notes like juniper and ambroxan, I was thinking maybe that was a deal, but maybe it's just the way that live is blended. Maybe the, the more fruitier nuances maybe just dials that down to where it's more palatable. But you guys know who have tried this, especially around the ladies, especially like, 19, 20, 25, maybe to around the early 30s or something like that. The ladies really, really, really dig this fragrance. So some of the notes in this are going to be bergamot, orange blossom, juniper, and ginger. So yeah, again, another great fragrance with ginger. Me love me ginger. Okay, so the next fragrance was actually down in the comments from part 1. Like, where is my IDL EDP? So whoever you were, here it is. And guys, you know how good this fragrance is. If you don't, you need to try it. Guerlain is considered a niche brand, even though they can be bought at relatively inexpensive prices. As far as the IDL or ideal line, it is ideally usually pretty cheap. But if you go to the upper tier of the Guerlain, they can get rather expensive. But this does have niche quality. Don't let that price tag fool you. This is a very effective fragrance. I love wearing it in the fall and the winter. It has garnered me lots of compliments. Now, some people have just said that they've just got a lot of enjoyment out of wearing this and have came back to me and reported that, man, I love it. I love it, especially for the price. I know a few of you who actually have this as a signature scent. This could be worn year round, but for me, it's just a little too much to wear in this super high, sticky North Carolina heat. But we're having an unseasonably cold winter this winter, so I've really been enjoying this, and I love to recommend this to people just to see what type of reactions they get. So the EDT and EDP are both known for their almond note, but the almond is sweeter in this one where it's mixed with vanilla and that cherry note. You also have a little bit of spice and leather and tonka bean on the dry down. So to sum it up, this is a sweet, warm, and spicy leather fragrance. Now, please don't misunderstand when I say a leather fragrance. Don't get it mixed up with like Tuscan leather or a more sharper, darker leather note type fragrance. This is going to be a very soft, maybe even suede, even though leather is the official note that it has listed, but just think soft leather. You're going to get a lot of that sweetness from the almond and the vanilla, that cherry, the tonka. It doesn't lean super gourmand, but it does have those gourmand aspects, but it's also tamed a little bit by that soft leather note. So this is a must-have staple that I have recommended dozens of times and will keep on recommending. Shifting gears into one of my absolute favorite fragrances from Perfumology Clutch. Now this one has actually shown up on my Instagram feed numerous times. I have had numerous people ask me, what does this smell similar to? It doesn't really smell similar to much. It's definitely like going down its own street, no pun intended, or was it? But it does have kind of sorta a similar vibe to Single Malt from by Killian. But I say that very loosely. It has kind of a similar vibe. But when you look at the notes, they're no way, shape, and form the same. I guess it's maybe how the notes are developed. And by me saying that, that is a huge compliment because I love both of those fragrances. But I actually recommend this because, number one, indie brand. I support indie brands. Like, that's my thing. I love my indie brands. It's inexpensive. $95 will grab this 50 ml, and this is just a great fragrance. Another one that has ginger in it. It's a nice warm ginger note. This is just so good. It almost has a booziness about it. So other than ginger, you have leather, vanilla, musk, oak, and cedar as some of the notes. You definitely need to get your nose on this. As a matter of fact, if you'd like to sample this fragrance, you could actually go to Perfumology and try anything from their line. Every fragrance that is on their website is available in sample, so that's a good thing. You know, even though it's just 95 bucks, you want to make sure you like it before, you know, you pull the trigger. But a lot of people have reported back to me on this one and have fallen head over heels in love with it. And for absolute good reason. I'd like to give a big shout out to today's sponsor, www.myfragrancesamples.com. If you're looking to sample while live or any of these fragrances that I have shown you today, next episode, previous episodes, go to www.myfragrancesamples.com. Use my discount code CFR15 to get 15% off. Lightning fast shipping, excellent customer service. Anytime I want to sample anything, I go to www.myfragrancesamples.com. So it'd be fair to say that this is going to be kind of one of those predictive programming fragrances that you guys have seen a lot. It falls behind the notes, kind of improvises, just like jazz music.
Soft melody, behind the notes, not what's expected. Improvise, like tonight.
And yes, it's from the replica line of Maison Margiela. It is Jazz Club. This fragrance is super sexy, just works fan-freaking-tastic in the fall and winter and even spring. It's not overly dark, but yet very, very effective in the cooler weather in my experience and in your experiences from what I've been hearing from the feedback from the gallery, wherever that may be. And wherever you are, I just want to say thank you. But back to the Jazz Club. Rum, vanilla, tobacco. Yeah, you know that stuff works. A little bit of spiciness, very smooth, very well blended, mass appealing, and will definitely, like, if you're at the Jazz Club and that lady walks by, she's gonna be, okay, you are going home with me from the Jazz Club. Now the next fragrance is a little bit of a curveball in a way, for simple facts of the results that this fragrance has got on my channel with some of the smelling rates with a couple of the ladies. So obviously when you see approval from the ladies, people are gonna be like, okay, got to have it, want it, need it, gotta get it. So yes, I have recommended this, but it has actually sold itself by some of the reactions it's got on the channel. It is Emporio Armani's Stronger With You Intensely. And of course, the regular Stronger With You is, you know, still working very well. Stronger With You Freeze was excellent, and a lot of you are digging the leather as well. So, from my experience so far, because I have yet to get my hands on the leather, been trying to do that, it just stays sold out all the time. But as you can see, big dent. Personally, lots of good luck. Lots of you have said the same thing about your wives, your girlfriends, mistresses, so on and so forth. This is that sweet, sexy amber, vanilla, and tonka bean fragrance that just absolutely just works. Just works. I love amber and tonka fragrances, but for the money, this is one of the absolute best ones. You know, if you want to get an upper tier one, you're gonna have to pay like an extra $100 on top of what you would pay for this. So as far as being an effective bang for your buck, no need in spending that extra $100 on, I could probably rattle off 5 very easily with similar scent profiles, even though the Stronger With You DNA is undeniable. So other than amber, vanilla, and tonka bean, you're gonna get a little bit of spiciness from some pink pepper and cinnamon, and you also have a note of leather in here. So this is an excellent, super slam dunk sexy fragrance if there's ever been one, especially for the cooler months. Last but not least comes from a brand that is just really growing on me more and more. I have several that I have fallen in love with. But as far as recommendations and getting a ton of wear, I'm talking about 8 Bob Nuit Megeve. When I first bought this, I just went absolutely insane. And there's been a lot of people who have actually bought this off of my recommendation just because it's not selling anything when people can see you genuinely excited, or when they genuinely can see a big dent in a bottle. I don't know how well you can see that. It's a black bottle, but trust me, if you can't see that little line, it's about right there. So yeah, it's been getting a ton of wear. I know several of you have been like, good looking out. And of course, I have to say good looking out to Ashton over at Gent Sense. He's the one that turned me on to this fragrance. So it's kind of got that ripple effect. You know, I'll get turned on to it and then vice versa, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So this is one of my absolute favorite Egypt is another one that Ashton had turned me on to, and Kenny, the Fragrance Shark. So thank you, fellas. Appreciate it. 8 and Bob is my jam now. And just to think, the story behind this actually goes back to one of my favorite presidents. So yes, Mr. John F. Kennedy, God bless his soul. So this is a spicy, woody, aromatic fragrance that even has a great backstory. Go to 8 and Bob and check out the backstory. It even has like a little love affair story in there, or a fling, or whatever you want to call it. So this one has some grapefruit, petitgrain, cloves, tobacco, coffee, vetiver. It's just, oh, such a great, great, great fragrance. Another one that you absolutely should try. If you don't like cloves, yeah, sample before you buy. I don't find the cloves to be like way too much in this fragrance. There's a lot going on in this fragrance, and believe it or not, compliment magnet, compliments galore. I wore this fragrance about a week ago, and five compliments. I kid you not. There was 2 ladies that came together and 3 ladies that came together probably within a 30-minute window. Every last one of them was like, boy, if you don't get away from me with that smell, I'm taking you home with me. My hand to God. But of course I had to stay at work, and I was a good boy, so there we go. So that wraps up episode 2, which means we've got one more. I'm gonna go ahead and tag 2 channels just to go ahead and kind of give y'all a heads up, and I might tag another one at the end. First, I'd like to tag Mike over at Mike D's Reviews, formerly 5280 Cents. In case you guys didn't know, he's done and changed his name up. But my boy Mike, you must do this tag, sir. And being that I brought up the Fragrance Shark earlier, let's go ahead and tag Kenny. Kenny, I know that you've got 25 fragrances that you recommend to people and won't ever stop recommending, so let's do that, sir. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let me know down in the comments, what are your favorite fragrances out of these, or out of these, have you ever recommended any of these? Until next time, I'll see you on Carolina Fragrance Reviews.